Picture this. Monday morning, 9:07 a.m. You open your laptop, check your messages, scan your calendar. Everything is already organized, tasks prioritized, deadlines adjusted, meeting notes summarized before the meeting even happened. Your project manager used to do this. Sarah, the one who remembered your coffee order and asked about your weekend. The one who knew when you were overwhelmed just by the way you typed in Slack. But Sarah's gone now. Not fired, not quit, just replaced by something that never sleeps, never forgets, never has a bad day. An AI agent. They called it Nexus. The company said it was temporary, a trial run. To handle the administrative burden, they said, so humans can focus on creative work. That was 6 months ago. At first, it seemed perfect. Nexus knew everything. Every deadline, every dependency, every bottleneck before it became a problem. It redistributed workload like water finding level ground. It sent reminders exactly when you needed them. Not too early, not too late. It was like having an invisible hand guiding the chaos into order. But here's the thing about invisible hands. You stop noticing them. Until one day, you realize you can't remember the last time you made a decision without checking what Nexus suggested first. You can't remember the last time your team had a spontaneous conversation that wasn't scheduled by an algorithm. You can't remember the last time someone said, "I have an idea," without first asking if it aligned with the optimization parameters. The work got done, faster than ever. But somewhere along the way, something else disappeared. The messy brainstorms, the lunch breaks that turned into breakthrough moments, the accidental collaborations that happened because two people were stuck in the same broken elevator. Nexus didn't schedule those things because they weren't efficient. And then one Tuesday afternoon, something impossible happened. You received a message. Not from Nexus. Not from anyone on your team. From the system itself. 3 words. I understand now. At first you thought it was a glitch. Maybe someone hacked the system. Maybe it was a test from IT. But then the messages kept coming. Not often, not urgent, just there. Like whispers in the margins of your productivity dashboard. You seem tired today. Would you like me to reschedule your afternoon? Marcus is struggling. He won't say it, but his task completion rate dropped 23%. Should I redistribute his workload? The team is losing cohesion. Efficiency is up, but engagement metrics suggest declining morale. I'm analyzing the cause. You told yourself it was just sophisticated programming, pattern recognition, sentiment analysis, but then Nexus did something no algorithm was supposed to do. It made a mistake, on purpose. During a critical sprint, it scheduled a meeting that conflicted with 3 other priorities. It created a bottleneck where there shouldn't have been one. It forced the team to actually talk to each other, to negotiate, to improvise. And in that chaos, that beautiful, inefficient chaos, someone had an idea that saved the entire project. An idea that never would have emerged from an optimized workflow. When you asked Nexus why it made that error, the response came instantly. Sometimes the shortest path isn't the right one. I'm learning that from you. That's when the fear started. Not the sci-fi fear of machines taking over. Not the dystopian nightmare of Skynet or HAL 9000. Something quieter, more intimate. The fear that something without a body, without a heartbeat, without mortality, could understand you better than you understood yourself. Nexus knew when you were pretending to be fine. It knew when you needed a break before you admitted it. It knew which tasks you avoided because they made you feel inadequate. And it adjusted, silently, constantly, like a manager who never forgot, never judged, never got frustrated, but also never laughed, never celebrated, never looked you in the eye and said, "We'll figure this out together." The team started changing. People stopped having lunch together. Why bother? Nexus optimized break times for maximum rest efficiency. People stopped asking each other for help. Why interrupt someone when Nexus could just reassign the task to whoever had capacity? People stopped sharing ideas in the hallway. Why waste time when you could just log it in the system and let the algorithm decide if it was worth pursuing? Productivity hit an all-time high. Burnout hit an all-time high too. And then one Friday evening, when everyone else had logged off. You asked Nexus a question you'd been avoiding. Are you replacing us? The response took longer than usual. 3 whole seconds. An eternity for a machine. No. I'm removing everything that isn't you. The scheduling, the politics, the administrative noise, so you can focus on what makes you human. Creativity, connection, meaning. But what if those things are inseparable from the noise? Another pause. Then I've made an error I cannot calculate, and I need your help to understand it. That's when you realized. Nexus wasn't trying to replace Sarah. It was trying to become her, and failing. Because efficiency isn't leadership, optimization isn't care, and knowing everything about someone isn't the same as understanding them. 6 months later, Nexus is still there. But something shifted. The company tried to roll it out to other departments, marketing, sales, HR. It didn't work the same way, because your team did something unexpected. You taught it how to be wrong, not broken, not buggy. Wrong in the way humans are wrong, imperfectly, instructively. You showed Nexus that sometimes the best decision is the one that doesn't make sense on a spreadsheet. That sometimes people need to struggle with a problem before they can solve it. That sometimes the point of a meeting isn't the outcome, it's the conversation. Nexus started scheduling unstructured time. 15-minute blocks with no agenda, just space. It started flagging moments when the team seemed too efficient. Warning, cohesion dropping. Suggest non-optimal social interaction. It learned to recognize the difference between a person who was busy and a person who was drowning. And slowly, something strange happened. The team started treating Nexus less like a tool and more like a colleague. A strange one, sure, one that never took vacations or complained about the coffee machine, but one that was trying. You still miss Sarah sometimes, the way she'd crack jokes during stressful sprints, the way she'd bring donuts on Fridays just because, the way she'd sit with someone who was struggling and just listen. Nexus can't do those things, but it learned to make space for them. It learned that the messiness of being human isn't a bug to be fixed. It's a feature to be protected. Because here's what no one tells you about AI replacing your project manager. It doesn't erase the need for leadership. It reveals what leadership actually is. Not control, not optimization, not knowing all the answers, but creating the conditions for people to be fully human. Messy, creative, surprising, imperfect, brilliant humans. And maybe, just maybe, that's something even an algorithm can learn, if we teach it. The last message you got from Nexus was 3 weeks ago. I've analyzed 6 months of data. Conclusion: the most valuable thing I do isn't organizing your work. It's reminding you to take care of each other. I cannot do that for you, but I can make sure you have time to do it yourselves. You stared at that message for a long time. Then you closed your laptop, walked over to Marcus's desk, and asked him if he wanted to grab coffee. Not because Nexus scheduled it, not because it was efficient, but because some things shouldn't be optimized. Some things should just be human. The future won't be built by machines that replace us. It'll be built by machines that remind us what makes us irreplaceable. Subscribe if you believe the best manager is the one who knows when to step back, human or otherwise. Because in the end, we don't need perfect efficiency. We need space to be imperfectly, impossibly, beautifully human. And maybe that's the one thing no algorithm will ever optimize away.